In this video, we will be finding the truth about the Whaley house in San Diego, California, and even ranked by the travelers as the America's most haunted house. Thomas Whaley was born in New York City on October 5th, 1823. In September 1855, Thomas bought a land in Old Town San Diego, California. In 1857, Thomas constructed a two-story brick house for himself and his wife Anna using bricks from his personal brickyard. And the result was the infamous Whaley house. Since being built, the Whaley house has been used as many things, including a courtroom, San Diego's first commercial theater, both of which still remains in the house today. But its most famous use was the home of Thomas and Anna Whaley and their children, who moved in and out of the house throughout the late 1800s in the early mid to 1900s. Thomas and Anna Whaley had 3 children within the first few years of living at the Whaley house: Francis Hinted, Thomas Jr., and Anna Amelia. Thomas Jr. tragically died at 18 months of scarlet fever in the house. In that same year, Thomas Sr.'s nearby general store burned down in a case of arson. The family moved to San Francisco, where they had 3 more kids: George Hayes, Ringgold Violet Eloise, and Coronoid Lillian. However, an earthquake in 1868 forced the family to return to live in the Whaley house in San Diego. Unfortunately, tragedy would continue to fall on the family over the years, as Violet Whaley would kill herself in 1885. She shot herself in the heart in the backyard of the house due to grief over her failed marriage. Thomas Whaley found her dying and brought her inside the house into the back of the parlor, where she passed away 15 minutes later. Over the next 68 years, 3 members of the Whaley family would die inside the house: Anna Whaley in 1930s, Frances in 1940, and the Lillian in 1953. So the history is closed. On to the next chapter of the paranormal phenomena of this Whaley house. First ghost that we're gonna discuss is Thomas Jr. and Violet Whaley. Infants' cries are often heard in the house, an experience likely attributed to the fact that Thomas Jr. died from scarlet fever inside the house at the age of 18 months. On the second floor of the house, in the back room, people have seen a young woman and reported feeling profound sorrow in this area. This young woman is believed to be Violet Whaley. There are other spiritually active areas of the house with unidentified sightings of apparitions. In the early 1900s, the house was rented out to various tenants by Lillian. So it's possible this unidentified apparition could be spirits of former tenants. Some have seen a little girl in the dining room. Vaudeville music is sometimes heard in the theater room, and psychics that have visited the house see the courtroom is especially active. A woman is sometimes seen here in the back corner of the jury box. Paranormal investigators also claim this back corner is a spiritual vortex. Outside the house, another police officer also had a paranormal experience more than 30 years ago. There was a 911 call from a concerned citizen reporting a woman crying outside the Whaley house, and the officer who responded to the call would witness something that he would only reveal in his confidential retirement letter decades later. When the officer came into the property, he saw, quote, a woman at the back of the house crying, end quote, and mentioned she was in a period clothing. The officer asked, quote, ma'am, are you alright, end quote, which she turned around and smiled. When the officer shone his flashlight on her, the woman disappeared. The house also spots the rare instance of a ghost dog and a ghost cat, both of which the Whaleys owned at the time. That means there are freaking ghost ants hunting us, ghost trees, ghost bacteria, etc. That's pretty funny thing. 2 other ghosts that haunt the house are Thomas and Anna Whaley themselves. Many reports saying Thomas Whaley on the upper landing, where one person claimed he wore a frock coat and platoons. Some have reported that he blows tobacco smoke on visitors. visitors' faces. Anna Whaley is typically seen in the garden or in one of the downstairs rooms, and are also being spotted wearing a green gingham dress sipping tea in the parlor, a place where Thomas has been seen as well. One night, a Whaley house tour guide named Victor Santana was setting the alarm, and as he was punching the code, he heard a woman say, quote, "Why are you here?" end quote, which spooked him to the point that he ran out the front door without completing the code setting off the alarm. Shortly after, San Diego police officers respond to the Whaley house. Santana recollects the officer, quote, claimed there was a woman in green dress in the parlor. But by the time backup arrived, the woman in green had disappeared. However, the final and perhaps most feared ghost of all is the ghost of Yankee Jim. Part of the reason this house is haunted is due to what occurred on the land before the house was constructed. In 1852, James Yankee Jim Robinson was sentenced to hang to his death for attempting to steal a boat. Sentenced to death for attempting, he didn't even successfully steal the boat. Those times were freaking rash, bro. He was hanged on the gallows of the back of a wagon on the land where the Whaley house stands today. Interestingly enough, Thomas Whaley was reportedly in the attendance of that hanging. He still purchased the land 3 years later, a decision that would literally haunt him for decades to come. Thomas and his family would reportedly hear heavy footsteps in the house, and occur that Thomas himself would attribute to the ghost of the Yankee Jim. And Whaley also believed the house was haunted, and furthermore believed the property itself was cursed, and perhaps accounted for the tragedy that continually befell the family. After being dedicated as historic house on May 25, 1960, the Whaley house has received over 100,000 visitors per year, and countless numbers of those people reported paranormal experience. For there to be so many instances of reported paranormal activity in that house, I can certainly believe that it is haunted, especially when considering the history. Hope you all enjoyed, and see you all in the next video, and your boy is out. Peace.